Monday, everyone. This is Lindell from Fistful of Java. I'm here in the park on middle of the afternoon under a tree. Very pleasant. I want to talk about something that if you're a musician, eventually enters your conversation at some point or another, and that's being in a band. What that's like, what it requires, the positives, the negatives. And as I open this topic up, I'm going to talk about each of the bands I've been associated with individually and some of the pluses and minuses. There were some bands I stuck with long term. There was sometimes I was in a band for just a night. In some cases I started with the band, and once I figured out what they were all about, decided no, I didn't want any part of that. So, some things you may want to consider if you're looking at getting in a group with, guys that play music or girls that play music, depending. The best way to describe a band is like a marriage, but it's a strange marriage because you're married to like 4 or 5 different people in some cases. Most of my bands only had 4 members, but some of the fights you have, some of the arguments, discussions, it's more similar to marriage than you would think possible for the fact that you're playing music. But the things that you share in a band can be quite intimate, as far as if you're writing lyrics that are about your personal life, you're sharing your personal experiences. They're the first ones to hear it. They're the first ones to critique it. And in some cases, they may have things they add to it. So, a song that may start out as yours may not be completely yours when it's finished. Obviously, they add musically if they don't help write the lyrics, the different parts of the song, with the whole purpose of trying to make it a complete, whole, and good song. So everyone's soul is part of what you're creating, which is one of the ways in some cases bands fall apart, because the writer of the music doesn't completely understand that. He still thinks it's his, when in fact it belongs to everyone once you share it and they start contributing to the overall success of a particular piece of music. And for some, even listening to it right now, they're going, oh, no, that's my song. Yeah, well, it was your song when you wrote it down in your bedroom, but when you added 3 other musicians to it, now it's, it's a composite thing. Everybody adds something to the mix. So, that's one thing. Another thing that you'll notice if you've been in more than a couple of bands, that people that play a particular instrument have usually a certain energy to them. Guitar players have a certain energy, bass players have a certain energy, drummers have a certain energy. And if you have a front man, they also have a very unique style and energy that's different from everybody else. And you have to learn to negotiate through all those energies and personality quirks and types to form something cohesive. And just know that part of the thing that gets on your nerves is the thing that makes them good at what they do. So, that's a weird lesson to learn, but it is something that will appear. The good guitar players I've known over the years are all very high strung. Bass players are usually laid back to almost the nth degree, to the point of just laying down almost. There's just not a lot of high energy bass players out there. Drummers, on the other hand, are kind of somewhere in between, usually sometimes a little unstable. I've met some stable drummers, but more than times than not, drummers I've met are a little on the unstable side. Frontmen, have not known too many pure front guys, peacocks, but that's what you have them up in the front for. They're the guys to lead the band and to keep the audience's attention. If you're playing live, that's what they do. So all of them have a tendency to grate on your nerves at some point or another. That's why I say it's more like a marriage than most people are aware of. But it's a unique thing, a unique type of connection. So playing in a band, despite all the personality quirks and things you have to, adjust to, the biggest reason to play in a band, it's like finding out your favorite food is something you've never had before. And you sit at the table and someone serves it up, you're like, I'm not sure what this is. And then you eat it and you're going, wow, that was absolutely amazing. How did I live my life this long and never have tasted this? I want this all the time, forever. Playing in a band, if it's right, can be like that. Everybody shows up, does their part, and you hear the song. There's an energy that is unparalleled when you play in a cohesive group, because everybody brings their weird, unique energy to the mix, and then when you mix it all together, the recipe, there's not words. You have to feel it, and you will feel it when the song is played right, and you have this rush that you feel all the way down to your toes, the back of your neck. It's everywhere, and you're like, oh wow, that's wow. And once the band gets used to each other, and you can recreate that with every piece of music, that energy is transferable. When you get on stage and that energy in the band is good, everyone in the room can feel it. Everybody. And that's why a lot of people like to go see live shows, is because they want to tap into that energy. Because it's not like anything else. Music is in itself a particular energy, but it's not just the noise that is created by the band. The band themselves have an energy. And when you get all of that together, in this audio sandwich, meal kind of thing going on, it's something. And you take a piece of that home with you. Even after the music stops, if you were there, you heard it, it stays with you. But as was mentioned, that the personality situation can be, interesting. And we hadn't even talked about egos. The idea that I'm the most important member of the band, you guys couldn't survive without me. If it wasn't for my this or that or the other, this band wouldn't be what it is. And that happens all the time. That you got one guy, sometimes more guys. And unfortunately, oftentimes it happens, one dude will set that off, and it starts a chain reaction of egos, rubbing and bouncing against each other. Everybody vying for a position. When if everybody just stayed in their lane, it'd be fine. But, sometimes that's next to impossible, depending on, the personality. Then you throw in, and this is specific to bands with all guys in there, girlfriend-wife factor, who thinks that because she's part of her husband's life is part of the band. I need to do a whole video on that one, man. That's a whole dynamic that can kill a band. You got someone who has no musical training or background whatsoever, who wants a voice in directing a group that they're not technically part of. Every band member who's a guy, who's in a long-term relationship, has had to experience that, something similar to that, probably more than once. Because it might have been their girlfriend or wife that was the one that was kicking up dust in the air. Or somebody else's girlfriend who wanted to be part of it. I'll call it the Yoko Ono effect. So, but yeah, but as far as the music is concerned, playing in a group, even if it's only a temporary thing, is that could be outstanding. So what I want to do after this is to talk about some of the specific groups I was in, the pluses and minuses, and why that group was, you know, pleasant or why it wasn't pleasant. I got about 6 of them, I guess. I think it's about 6. We'll figure that out as we go along. But yeah, I think we're good for now. I'm gonna head in now because it's already starting to get warm. Even here in September, it's cooling, but it's not cold yet. So anyway, y'all have a good afternoon, morning, evening, all that stuff. Until next time.